Meet up tomorrow at Pauley Pavilion for the Big Ten Conference regular season title. Second-ranked UCLA and number 4 USC are also battling for a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Who cares about the black community in Altadena? We do. On Saturday, March 8th at 10 a.m., it's the premiere of Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr. This new weekly show will explore the deep roots and resilience of Altadena's black community as we track its recovery and reimagine its future. From relief efforts to rebuilding, we're raising up voices, stories, and solutions to build back Black Altadena better and stronger than ever. It's Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr every Saturday at 10 a.m. beginning Saturday, March 8th with an encore presentation Sundays at noon.
James Farr, the man who is the voice for Black Los Angeles.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
First things first.
First things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Tag Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580.
First things first.
Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. Well, the show is called First Things First, and my very first thing today and every single day, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's go. Happy Monday. Happy Women's History Month. We do have so much to talk about. Maybe I should just stop saying that because that's how it's going to be for the foreseeable future. But this is the way we do things on a Monday. Hour one, we look local, what's going on the left coast. And of course, that's so interconnected right now with everything that's going on all over the world. Hour two, we go national, international, and beyond. And we lead off that hour with our Mindful Monday meditation, affirmation, and look at the stars. Hour three, we do a deep dive with a person of interest, a hot topic. And today we're going to be talking with Professor James Simmons, looking at what is going on the national landscape, especially and particularly with policing, but also just with democracy itself, because that is that's top of mind right now, obviously. Policing, because this is the anniversary of the beating of Rodney King. If you're from LA, that's, something we never, ever forget. If you're from anywhere in Black America, you definitely have some meaning behind that moment as well. So we have a lot going on. And of course, in this hour, we are going to look at some of the tactics, some of the strategies, what's going on with the Democratic Party as personified by what's going on here in LA County, in the city of Los Angeles. And last week, I raised the question of whether or not that this is the end of the Democratic Party in that sense. And, well, a lot of folks say yes. Some people are talking about rebranding, finding their purpose, finding their voice, finding their strategy. But one person in particular who wasn't involved in that conversation has a whole lot to say about the party, which she happens to be a part of, not only a part of as a staffer for politicians, but also a part of as a party official in some sense, quiet as it's kept. She's an award-winning Gen X journalist. She is a writer, a contributor with many bylines to many publications, also an on-air contributor here at KBLA on TV and all locally as well as nationally. Jasmyne Cannick is also a fashion icon, but we'll save that for another day. Good morning, Jasmyne.
Okay, thanks for getting that morning laugh out of me.
Well, what is funny about it? I thought you were you've really reinvented yourself as exactly that.
You know what? First of all, good morning.
Good morning.
You know how Black people are about that greeting.
Yes,
so first
ma'am.
Let's start off with good morning, and good morning, KBLA family, and good morning, Miles, again. You know what? I think that I was always quite fashionable. I just think that as I got older, I just refined it a little bit. You know how it's weird. You know, I'm sure you're probably the same way, right, Dominique? Like you look back at your pictures from like 20, 30 years ago, you're like, I would never wear that. Or why is my hair so big?
Yeah, I do that from 20 months ago. But yeah, no, I feel you. And
okay, exactly. And so I don't know. I just got into it. But I think before we jump into the subject, I will just say this. I love the past, I would say, 10 years in fashion for people who are not, no offense to anyone who is a size 2 or a size 4, but for the rest of us, you know, we had very limited fashion options. And there has been this big change in fashion for women who are size, 12 and more. And I have really had a lot of fun with that because we didn't have all those options. They didn't make a lot of things in our sizes. And so, yeah, I love, yes. Call me a fashion icon. I'll take it.
But yeah, it was a compliment. But it is interesting. It's like, no, you didn't reinvent yourself. The industry reinvented itself so that you could fully express who you've always been. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And I have a lot of fun. And not to mention, look, I'm part of the Ozempic tribe. And yes, that helped too.
Wow. Yeah, I was watching the Academy Awards last night, and it was super evident that a lot of folks have been, using Monjaro or something like that. But no hate and no shade as long as people are, taking care of themselves and living their best lives.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about.
Not so much, I think. Do you think that of your own party, though?
Yeah, the Democratic Party. I was listening to your intro into the segment and super excited. James is coming on. James is always a great time, right? Lots of knowledge there. But you had mentioned democracy and sort of, the state that, we're in as a country. And of course, I'm sure everyone who paid attention to what happened last week with President Zelensky, visiting the White House was probably just as dismayed and disgusted as I was. And it was just a sort of another reminder of where we've sunk into. just not only as a country, but just as people, right? And I know that, a lot of us love to pay attention to what's going on in Washington, D.C. We feel it makes us smarter. We feel like, oh, yeah, we know what's going on in the White House, but we don't know anything about what's going on in our own zip code. And it's like folks be watching Congress like a hawk while their own Democratic Party right here in their city is out here pulling stunts and wilding out. And this is actually where it starts at before, we even get to D.C. And so you know me, Dominic, I am always trying to remind people about what's going on in their backyard, right in their own zip code, to get engaged and to sort of talk about those issues because we have very little time before 2026. Folks who do this work started working on 2026 the day after the election in 2024.
You mean
right?
you're talking about the elections of 2026,
yes,
of course, yeah.
The elections of 2020. I mean, because some folks think it's about 2028. I am under the mindset that it's about 2026 and 2028. And so, yeah, there's some stuff that's going on here locally that I think folks in LA County should be aware of, and should be paying attention to, and need to get really more invested in because folks operate here like they have a secret society in the Democratic Party because nobody ever calls them out, nobody ever challenges them on things. And then we get mad, folks get mad. They're like, oh, well, why did this happen? Or why did they do that? And it's like, well, there was nobody to say anything otherwise, so why didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm quite sure that's one of the main reasons why you ran to be a member of the Democratic Party Central Committee here locally.
So about that. First of all, again, thank you to everybody who voted for me and put me in that number one spot. I appreciate you, Assembly District 55. What I will say is that as long as Black people as long as the majority of Black people are Democrats, I'm going to be a Democrat. That's just the way it is. And I don't have to agree with the Democratic Party. My job, as I see it, is to push back, ask questions, hold the Democratic Party accountable, particularly to Black voters, and to not just rubber stamp everything. I'm not there for that. I don't have those ambitions of like, I just need to be a part of the status quo so I can get favors and be put on committees and be invited to things. I don't care about all of that. Like, I really don't. I have my own life outside of the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is not my life, but because they operate on our votes, they operate with our support, we need people within the party that are going to challenge them on things, and that is what I consistently try to do. If I wake up one day and the majority of Black people have decided, we're moving over to, the Purple Party, I will be in lockstep with my people. But as of right now, we are in the Democratic Party, and we do need to speak up, and we do need to raise issues and to challenge the Democratic Party where they are wrong.
Yeah, Jasmyne Cannick is my guest. You're welcome in 800-920-1580. When we come forward, I want to talk about that. Like, what does it mean to challenge? Many times we embody challenging by protesting from the outside. What does an inside-out strategy look like? And when you say whiling out, we want to know what you're referring to as far as our local LACDP. And yeah, I mean, also, of course, we've got to take on this question of whether our party, because I'm still a member of it too, although I must say I've been considering my options lately, whether what they're doing in this moment of peril is all they can actually do. We'll look at that and more when we continue on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Febreze.
As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up Oscar!
We've got a lot to talk about. Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the voice of reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, also getting back to Jasmyne Cannick. Where to start? What do you mean when you say shenanigans? Let's start there. I mean, as far as the local Los Angeles County Democratic Party. Okay.
I'm sorry, just for context. Sorry, I had you on mute.
Oh, no worries.
Just for context, I will say this. Folks need to understand, you heard me before talk about this, then just consider this a refresher. You can be a registered Democrat. That does not mean you have a vote in your party. The only people who have votes in your party are the delegates, the folks who run every 4 years during the presidential primary. We elect 7 delegates by assembly district in California. So depending on where you live, I live in Assembly District 55, so like Crenshaw, West Adams, Jefferson Park, Leimert Park, Baldwin Hills, Culver City, like that, those are some of the areas within the 55th, right? And so those are the people who actually have a vote. Those are the people who set the tone, the policy, pick what issues the party is going to lift up. Those are the people who get to vote on who gets endorsed by the Democratic Party, all of those things. Not you. You don't get to do that. Only the delegates do. Okay? And so we meet once a month. We come together, and we have a meeting and we talk about whatever the issues are. We do our voting, this and that. Well, one of the things that I've noticed since I've been in the party, which has been this is my second time around. I ran for the first time in 2020 and got elected, is that they don't like voices of dissent or voices that disagree with them, and they're always trying to find really creative ways to silence like anybody that's not a part of the status quo. And a lot of times I just sit back and I watch all of this happen, and that's not necessarily the answer either. And I get on myself about that because that's part of the problem, right? When we see things that aren't right and we don't speak up about it.
Yeah,
During COVID.
No, go ahead.
During COVID, it got really, really bad. because we moved our meetings to Zoom. And folks would be muted. Folks would not be allowed to speak. I mean, it was just the way we were being talked to as delegates was just crazy. And I can't say it's that much better now that we've returned to in-person meetings. But what happened is last month, because we're in March now, right? So
yes,
at
ma'am.
our February meeting, there was like this contentious issue that was coming up for a vote. And the issue is basically that, among other things, but this is the most important thing, they want to change the voting threshold to change our constitutional bylaws in the party from a 2/3 majority consent to a 60% majority, so that they can better pass things, because there are just enough people in the party right now that don't agree with things where it's become a problem and they can't get the things that they want passed because you need a 2/3 majority. So they figure, well, we'll just move the goalposts. We'll just change the rules. And I don't think they had enough votes at the meeting on Friday, because all of a sudden it was announced that it was going to be pushed to this month for a vote, which is a strategy I've seen in Sacramento and D.C. all the time when there aren't enough votes on the floor, right? You don't take the vote.
Right, because you don't want to take the L, so you don't take the vote.
Right, exactly. And so then there was a meeting, I want to say it was last week, that I attended on Zoom where it was supposed to be a meeting. It was like they were talking to, like, let's dumb this down for the delegates to explain to us why they wanted to do this. And the word obstructionist came up. And for some reason, Dominique, that really bothered me. Why are we changing our bylaws? First of all, because we want to make it easier to bypass obstructionists. And I'm like, in a functioning democracy, disagreement is not obstruction, Dominique. It's discourse, it's debate, it's how we make decisions. And I'm like, okay. So instead of doing the hard work of organizing and persuading and trying to build consensus, we just want to change the rules as a party. And it reminded me of what was going on in D.C. So it really bothered me, and it's bothered a lot of other delegates in the party as well. This has been a huge conversation amongst those of us who we feel like this is not right. And so I wrote about it, and I talked about it, and I framed it in a way that people could look at what's going on in D.C. to understand what's going on in L.A. And my whole question was well, how can we complain about what's going on in D.C. if we're using the same playbook as Trump to silence people who disagree with the status quo within the party? That's not right.
Is it fair to say it's the same playbook, though, Jasmyne Cannick? I mean, they're not, well, I don't know. Maybe they are.
A power grab is a power grab.
A power grab. I mean, they're not, twisting arms in this sort of mobster way that the Republican Party is, are they? I mean, the Republican Party, the way that they rubber stamped, now I'm talking about on the national scene, of course, Trump's cabinet nominees, which were extremely, ridiculous, right? Everyone's cool with Kash Patel as FBI director, not one Republican. To me, that means they must have compromising photos of them, or their mother is in the back tied up or something. That's how the Republicans are acting right now. And you're saying the Dems are operating on that same level?
I mean, look, they're changing the rules. They're consolidating power. They're steamrolling their opposition. And all of that, to me, as a delegate, bothers me. Here's the other thing that I need my Democrats in LA to also understand. We have the largest Democratic Party in the country right here in Los Angeles. There are levels to this thing, right? You got your county, state, and then you got the DNC, right? Our party represents over 2.9 million people, which is more than 42 states, right? We have the largest local Democratic Party entity in the U.S., which makes sense, right? That tracks. We're also the largest county in the U.S., right? L.A. County is. So it makes sense that we would have the largest Democratic Party. So it's I think about that too, and I think about, well, what happens here? Other Democratic parties are looking at how we act, the things that we do. We have had a 2/3 majority for longer than I've been in the party as a delegate. Ventura County, Riverside, San Diego, Orange County parties all have a 2/3 majority. Most labor unions use a 2/3 majority to change their bylaws and things like that. Why are we changing ours to 60%? Like, to me, it doesn't make sense. But when I hear my fellow delegates in a meeting say it's because, we need to quell obstructionists, I'm just like, oh, you don't like the people who aren't rubber stamping leadership's agenda. You don't like the people who ask questions and actually read the documents that are sent over to them. Oh, you don't want us reading the fine print. Oh, and we should not be pushing back. Oh, we're the obstructionists. And so that really bothered me. And I'm just like, you know what, let me put this in language that may make sense to other folks, just in terms of like, look, we see a lot of shenanigans coming out of D.C., particularly around power grabs, particularly around silencing the opposition. And boy, do they find creative ways to, silence folks and push back on folks. And we're doing that right here within our own party. And this is part of the issue. And I think the bigger picture, or what goes along with the bigger picture, is this. If the status quo was so great for the Democratic Party, that man would not be in the White House right now. You need these different voices. The Democratic Party needs people to push back and to come in with new ideas, come in with real ideas, the real voices and perspectives of the real people in the Democratic Party. Because I got to tell you, clearly what we've been doing isn't working. Look at where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay, we only have a minute till news, traffic, and sports. And everyone, you're welcome, of course, as usual. Good morning to weigh in, whether it's on YouTube at KBLA 1580 or by calling 800-920-1580. Yeah, I mean, but I think the reasons for not working, all this hand-wringing and, we must reinvent ourselves. I have some issues with that, starting with the fact that the Dems like to co-opt the messages and policies of the progressive wing of the party and then carry on with corporate business as usual, or try to. But the other part of it is that, we, some folks are, I think, doing too much as far as, you're discounting gerrymandering, you're discounting voter suppression, you're discounting the possibility of vote manipulation, which hasn't even been investigated. And I'm not saying that to make excuses, but I think when you're playing with someone who cheats, you at least have to check to see if they cheated. And for some reason, that's not part of all the post-election analysis that's going on right now, and I wish it would be. Jasmyne Cannick is my guest. You're welcome in. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Vivek Ramaswamy shared his vision to make Ohio the best state by 2026 if elected governor, focusing on wealth generation, world-class education, and a family-friendly environment. Iowa is the first state to eliminate civil rights protections for transgender people. Governor Kim Reynolds signed a bill removing gender identity as a protected class, ending protections in employment, housing, education, and public accommodations. A 2016 study found that 0.8% of black adults in the U.S. identify as transgender. An Illinois man, 73-year-old Joseph Zubo, was found guilty of murdering a 6-year-old Palestinian-American boy and attacking his mother in October 2023 in response to a Hamas attack on Israel. And the 2025 UCLA Hollywood Diversity Report found a decline in diversity in 2024's top films, with fewer people of color in key roles. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
You asked for it. 9 new dates added. You won't want to miss. For the Record presents Tarantino Pulp Rock, the immersive live experience that will blow you away. Come kill it with us. Ends April 6th, only at the Cine Vita next to SoFi Stadium. Get your tickets now.
This This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers' winning streak is now at 6. Last night's 108-102 win over the Clippers at Crypto.com moved the Lakers into second place in the Western Conference. Oklahoma City is on top in the West, 10 games ahead of the surging Lakers. The Lakers' 18-4 record is the best in the NBA over the past 6 weeks. Luka Doncic led the Lakers last night with 29 points and 9 assists. Rookie forward Dalton Cannick dropped 19 off the bench. The Lakers are back in action Tuesday night against New Orleans. The Clippers are at Phoenix on Tuesday. R&B singer Angie Stone was on her way to perform at the CIAA Men's Basketball Championship game Saturday night in Baltimore. Stone died early Saturday morning in a car crash outside of Montgomery, Alabama. The CIAA is made up of HBCU schools. Virginia State defeated Bluefield State 71-64 to earn the automatic bid to the NCAA Division II tournament. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Looking for a purposeful and passionate way to make a difference in your community? Volunteer with our Senior Medicare Patrol and help prevent Medicare fraud. S&P volunteers work in their community educating peers about healthcare fraud and how to prevent and detect it. Free training starts soon. Check us out online or at an S&P open house near you. We're on a mission to stop fraud. Join our team. You make a difference. Visit caspvolunteer.org. Protect yourself from Medicare card scams. Scammers may call, email, or even knock on your door claiming they need your Medicare info, asking for money or threatening to cancel your benefits. Don't fall for it. It's a scam. Remember, Medicare doesn't need to verify your information. They already have it. Medicare won't charge you for a new card and will never threaten to cancel benefits. Check your Medicare statements for suspicious charges and report scams to the California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080. We're here to help.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text ROCK to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text ROCK to 42424. That's ROCK to 42424.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Individual results may vary. Consult a doctor prior to use.
If you've struggled to lose weight in the past, this important message is for you because you could lose as much as 50 pounds or more with Zelfie. Zelfie makes it easy and affordable to get weight loss treatment 100% online. Zelfie providers can prescribe FDA-approved GLP-1 weight loss medications clinically shown to help people lose weight like Wegovy, Zepbound, and others. Plus, help get the medication covered by insurance so it's as little as $0 a month.
The doctors are super helpful, and the meds have been a game changer. It's the first program I've had success with.
Before Zelfie, I was unable to lose weight, even though I was eating healthy and exercising 6 days a week. Zelfie helped me not only lose weight, but I feel so much better.
Text GOAL to 200-300 to get started today with Zelfie and see if weight loss medications like Wegovy or Zepbound are right for you. Don't wait. Text now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text GOAL to 200-300. That's GOAL to 200-300. GOAL to 200-300.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
During tax season, your info travels lots of places you can't control.
W-2 arriving from payroll platform 3.
Everything criminals need to steal your identity is on your W-2.
Last call for accountant at home office, 1 minute.
LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points per second.
Text preparation data centers with service to IRS. All aboard.
If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Same old story back again. She's not a lover, she's just a friend. I'm sick and tired for you to blame on me. Now you think it's funny. Now you wanna spend your money on girls that you forgot when you were down, that I was around. Call my lover, hang, call again. What in the world is happening? Listening, but don't yell at me. Isn't it ironic? All you wanna do is smoke on it. Boy, you forgot when you were down, who was around.
KBLA Talk 1580. Yeah, you can let that ride for sure. I wish I didn't miss you. Rest in peace, Angie Stone. I know that's not what we're talking about, Jasmyne Cannick, but yet I know it is what we're talking about at the same time.
Break for Angie.
Yes. I love me some Angie Stone.
Yes, me too.
It's one of the great voices, I think, of our generation. I mean, or her generation,
Yeah.
if you're not in her generation. I mean, she's just had the most beautiful, beautiful voice, range of styles, and sort of stealthy imprint in some ways on the culture.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite songs of hers. I have quite a few. She has a line in that song you were just playing that has always, moved me. I think her songwriting, the range of her voice, just how she carried herself through the years, I loved her for so many different reasons. Also, she didn't fit sort of the mold, right, of what R&B and neo-soul singers looked like when she first emerged, right? She wasn't super skinny and all of that. And there's just, it's just tragic and sad. And the one thing that I always take comfort in, same with Roberta Flack and a lot of other great folks who have passed on, is just that at least they were here long enough to share with us their talent so that we always have that, right? We can always put that record on, that CD on, stream it, whatever. And I'm really grateful that Angie can live on through us with her music.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite of her songs too. It's without doing too much. It's, sometimes there's a particular person. It's like, I really wish I didn't miss your behind, and that song just chef's kiss.
Well, that part, and I think for me in that song, my favorite line is when she says, one of those days when your dreams come true, that's the one that's going to do it to you. I believe in karma. I love that line. That same person, that mystical person we're talking about, Dominique, right?
That not so
mythical I can't wait for it to happen to them. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I know exactly the line. My favorite is "You forgot when you were down, who was around." But maybe that's because I have Captain Save-A-Ho tendencies. I don't know.
Look at you there.
Anyway,
that's another show. Have time for that one too. We can talk.
Another show for another day. Rest in peace, Angie Stone. Yes. For sure. So I was asking you about, where we are now with the Democratic Party in relation to what you're saying about silencing dissent, right? Because I think a lot of us have been wishing that the Democratic Party would be more gangsta in dealing with Republicans. It's almost become a cliche to say, they're punks. They bring a knife to a gunfight. We don't want you knocking on the doors of these agencies and delivering like emails. We want you to like go in there with your own doggone security and move that security guy out of the way and go in there. We want you to play hardball with Republicans and say we're going to shut down everything as long as you keep like trying to change our form of government, which right now we are in the middle of a coup, which is changing the form of governance from a republic, a democratic republic into a dictatorship, an oligarchical dictatorship. Saw really what I thought was a brilliant rant on Instagram. I have to look up who did it. He's talking about really the choices between the corporatists and the oligarchs, and with the Dems being the corporatists and the Republicans being the oligarchs. And to people who say there's no difference, maybe in some sense there isn't, but in terms of your rights, your ability to eat, like the cutting of Medicaid, the cutting of food stamps, or SNAP as it's now called, that has real world impact on actual people that need to eat and get medicine. So that is a difference if you're those people and you need that.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary times for sure. I think, going back to your original question, why aren't the Democrats, doing more and standing up? I think there are people in the party throughout the country, right, that are delegates in all of these counties and state parties whose voices are being silenced because, again, going back to something you said earlier, and I'm going to paraphrase it about how the Democratic Party likes to adopt like sort of the slogans and, catchphrases of the progressive, of its progressive members. But then when it's time to vote on them or to put them in action, always, seems to fall short or water it down to make it passable for the moderates, right? Mm-hmm. And so we have a lot of that in our party, I think, at the local level as well, right? When everyone is campaigning, they're progressive, they're this, they're that, they get in there, they turn into some secret society. I'm going to pull the car over for like 1 minute, Dominique. This is the thing that gets me about the Democratic Party, and I can't change it. The voters have to change it. There is no way that I should be out here campaigning, asking for you to vote for me, then you vote for me, and I get inducted into a secret society and you never hear from me again. If the mayor did that, if a council member did that, if an assembly member did that, a senator did that, folks would be screaming about it. There is no way. You cannot go to the LA County Democratic Party and find the 7 people who represent you and reach out to them on any issue because it's a secret society, which to me is absolutely crazy, right? They don't want to be bothered after they get elected. Like I'm not saying that's how all delegates feel, but that's what the appearance is, right? You ask for people to vote for you. You were publicly elected. And then all of a sudden it mum's the word. Can't nobody reach you. Can't nobody find you. You can't go. There's no what. Every other office, you can go online, find out who your representatives are. You cannot do that with the Democratic Party here, even though there are 7 people elected to represent every single Democrat living in LA County. So, these are, and this is how they get away with stuff, right? The public doesn't show up to these meetings. The public probably doesn't even watch them on YouTube. They have no idea what's going on with the party. You have progressive voices. You have people within the party who are trying to fight back, but they need the support of the people who put them there as well. That's why the vote coming up on March 11th is like super important for folks who care about democracy, who don't want to see, the voices of progressive folks silenced just because the status quo doesn't like it. And again, like I said, Dominique, like I put it in terms of like, there'll be a day that comes, when, so I always say like, oh, this goes over a lot of the heads of a lot of folks until something happens, right? There's a particular election we lose. There's going to be some issue or action that we don't take. And in that moment, people are going to be like, what is going on with the Democratic Party? and I'll say, and in that moment, I want you to remember what I told you. because you didn't do anything. You were so busy paying attention to what was going on in D.C. that you didn't pay attention to what was going on at your local level, where policies were being made, where decisions were being made on who was going to get supported, and let that go. And so, I mean, I feel like I sound like a broken record a lot, but I think part of this work is just constantly talking about it until people understand that being a delegate in the Democratic Party carries a lot of weight, and it's a huge responsibility. If it wasn't, you as a voter would not vote on us. You wouldn't vote on us. We would be appointed. There would be some other way that we would get in, but you, the voter, have to put these people in place. You have to put us in place to represent your interests in the party.
Well,
and right now, that's not happening.
They're definitely feeling you in this chat. In the YouTube chat, there's a amen. I love that point of view. And somebody said, Nzinga says, it's like you're bothering them if you try to reach out. The public doesn't show up to the meetings. That's the key point. Are you showing up? But you just said yourself, Jasmine, that you can't go online and find out who these folks are. So how do people track it? How do they know when the meetings are? How do they, keep track of the elections? How do they keep track of who's been elected and who they need to get rid of if there's not transparency in that way?
So, of course, follow me, because I'm going to tell you.
Right. Tell them how to follow you.
Sure. Hello, Jasmine on Instagram and Jasmine on Twitter or X, whatever they call it. I'm out there. Google me. It's easy to find me.
Jasmine with a Y.
Online. Don't follow me in person, but you can definitely follow me online. But, the meetings are listed on the website. I have a mailing list, and I post information as well, and I know other delegates do. The workaround, which to me is so ridiculous, is that you have to go to the county registrar, recorder, county clerk. I did it right. I said it right in one term. The county registrar, recorder, I'm messing up now, county clerk's website. You got to go to the primary that we just had back last year in March, and you got to go down to your assembly district for a member of County Central Committee, and you got to count the top 7 names. Those are your delegates. I think that's absolutely ridiculous that you got to go through all that. Then you got to do research and Google those people to find their website or their Facebook or, a way to send a message to them. I think folks in the party should be pushing to get that changed. Because here's the thing, I know that I wasn't elected to vote how Jasmine feels about things. Y'all don't want that anyway. I know that I was elected to vote on a platform for how the people in my district feel. And and it should be like that for all delegates. We're not there for ourselves. We are there for the Democrats in LA who elected us. How would you know how they feel if you don't talk to them, you don't hear from them, you don't engage with other Democrats? To me, that's absolutely ridiculous. And so I get it. We don't always agree on everything, but no one was elected to get into office to just do their own personal bidding. You're always elected to represent a body of people, to represent people who may agree with you or not agree with you, but have a point of view on this issue of changing our bylaws to make it easier to silence dissent, to consolidate, power, to grab power. That is absolutely ridiculous, and that is something that Democrats in Los Angeles should be paying attention to and should be talking to their delegates about and saying, I don't want you to vote in support of that on March 11th.
Okay, well, let me tell you, I'm in agreement with you that we need to do more, show up more, pay attention more. But I'm on the website right now and I don't see anything that you're talking about here. I'm scrolling and looking and I don't see it. So maybe it's me. We'll talk more about it when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud.
A great place for progressive politics.
KBLA Talk 1580.
They say the hardest part of getting something done is getting started. Well, we did that 30 years ago when California first took on the tobacco industry. Now, smoking is down 60%, lung cancer 42%, A couple of our cities have already ended tobacco sales. A California without big tobacco isn't just possible, it's already happening. See our progress at undo.org.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back. Jasmyne Cannick is my guest this hour, and she happens to be, besides being an award-winning Gen Z journalist, a Democratic strategist.
Gen Z? Girl.
I mean Gen X. Yes. I'm sorry you took offense at that. Oh, you didn't like that. That's funny. I am not no young person. Okay. No. That's hilarious, Jasmine. I meant Gen X, but the fact that you were that mad about it is hilarious to me. I am Jasmyne.com, Jasmine with a Y. She's also a delegate, a member of the LA Central Committee.
County.
Yeah, right. So the official website, which is lacdp.org, right?
Yes.
I'm on it. I see where I can donate, register to vote. I even found the meeting. I had to click around a bit for that. Mm-hmm. Meeting March 11th, but does not say anything about election, nor, to your point, does it tell you who your delegates are.
No, it does not. On the member page, it just tells you how people get elected, and that's pretty much it. And like I said, they've always operated as a secret society to me. It was even like that when I first, got elected in 2020. And I'm just like, but you're publicly elected. And I don't understand, we're not here to represent ourselves. We're here to represent the over 2.9 million Democrats in LA County. So why don't those Democrats who elected us get to reach out to us and know who we are and after the election? That doesn't make any sense to me. And we wouldn't accept that in anyone else we elected to office. People need to take their delegates as seriously as they take their mayor, as seriously as they take their senator, in particular right now because of what is going on in the Democratic Party. It's not just the DNC. Y'all need to be, checking for the state party, the California Democratic Party, as well as your county party, the LA County Democratic Party, about what is going on, the decisions that are being made in your voice on your behalf. Because that's at the end of the day, all of these decisions are being made on the behalf of Democrats in the state of California, on behalf of Democrats in the county of Los Angeles. And it's very, very important that folks stay engaged because, again, like I said, we're going to see things happen in 2026 and 2028 that are going to upset us if we don't make changes starting right here on the ground in our zip code all the way to the DNC.
Well, I guess, like you said, we have to follow you because I sure don't see any of that on this website right here. As far other than you can find out about the meeting, I guess if you show up to the meeting, perhaps you can figure out how to vote. But it's certainly not listed here. And
well, can't nobody vote but delegates, but you can certainly sit in as a registered Democrat. I believe the bylaws are any registered Democrat in LA County can attend the meetings. You won't have a voice or a vote because you're not a delegate, but you can watch the meetings on YouTube too.
Right.
Of course, they don't make all that easy for you though. Like you can't just go to the website and find any of this easily.
No. In fact, I just saw that the website has 3 RSVPs for that meeting. It's the whole county of LA. That's not good. But when I was thinking of voting, I was thinking about, in the acts when you're actually voting for those delegates. A lot of people don't track that. And there's nothing about that either. So
that won't be till 2028 again, where it's every 4 years in the presidential primary.
Right. So if you know, you know. How would that change? I mean, you're just thinking that if people pay more attention, then things like lowering the threshold to change bylaws and stuff might be less likely to happen if folks were watching?
I think that folks need to reach out to the 7 people who represent them. If you're in Compton, you got 7 people that represent you. If you're in Inglewood, you got 7 people that represent you. I sent you the link. As cumbersome as it is, Dominique, I had texted you like the workaround link. So, I have the information also on my website as well, the workaround to find out who represents you. Again, it shouldn't be as hard as it is, but if folks just take a few minutes and go to the county registrar recorder county clerk's website, they look up the election results for the presidential primary last year, and they scroll down to member county central committee for their assembly district. Mine happens to be 55, so I would scroll down to member for county central committee, assembly district 55, and then I would just count the first 7 names. Of course, my name's going to be at the top of that list. But anyway, I would count down the first 7 names, and those are the 7 people that got elected last year to represent you in the Democratic Party. And then the internet just has to do what the internet does best. Google, find folks on social media, find their campaign websites, whatever, and then send them an email and say, hey, I heard about this vote on March 11th. I'm a Democrat in your district. I don't want you to support this. And I think they need to hear from Democrats to understand that, one, we're paying attention because some of these folks keep getting reelected every 4 years, and maybe they'll pay attention. Maybe they'll realize, all of a sudden people are paying attention, so I better listen to the people in my district if I want to get reelected in 4 years. And, we just have to, as much attention as we're paying to DC and Sacramento, we need to pay right here, as I always say, to the Board of Supervisors, to City Hall, to your Democratic Party, to your school districts. Like, we have to pay attention. And there are people like me, there are people like you, Dominique, there are other folks that you have on your show that do pay it. We all have like little bites of the apple that we kind of focus on, right? And so I don't have to worry about paying attention to everything that goes on, let's say, with the school district, because I know that there's a sister that is on the school district or, that's going to make sure I know what goes on. I'm kind of that person for the Democratic Party. There are other folks as well who come before y'all to say, hey, this is going on, to ring the alarm when things are not right. This is one of those times. But I encourage people, particularly folks who don't want to see a repeat of what happened last year in 2026 and 2028, to get more involved in their party. Okay. And I will end by saying this. You don't have to be a delegate to be involved in the party. There are Democratic clubs that anyone can join who is a Democrat. If you love pets, if you love the color red, if you're queer, if you're a Black woman, you're whatever, there's a Democratic club for you in LA.
Gotta leave it there. Jasmyne Cannick, thanks. News, traffic, and sports now.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Vivek Ramaswamy shared his vision to make Ohio the best state by 2026 if elected governor, focusing on wealth generation, world-class education, and a family-friendly environment. Iowa is the first state to eliminate civil rights protections for trans